Welcome to Peter's podcast. We are really lucky to have Phil Mirner, who's the head of business and digital delivery at Peter, and Tash, who heads up our digital content creation. So we're going to have a bit of a chat today about the journey we're on. So it'd be amazing, Phil, if you want to just say hi, how long you've been here, and tell us a bit more about the digital journey and the history of Peter.
So I joined Peter 14 years ago as a training consultant, and then was promoted into the management position. Over that period of time, we've kept the core of what we do has always been face-to-face, and actually we engage well with our clients. Our clients appreciate that, and they like the face-to-face delivery that we have. However, over the last 3 years since you've joined the organisation, the journey we've really started to go on has been about digital and blended approach. So it's recognising that not all of our clients want face-to-face. They want enhanced solutions, which means that we can provide agile training.
So then we brought in Tash, who's joined us. So welcome, Tash. Tell us a bit about your role and what you do here.
So I come from a digital content creative perspective. So that's going to be around digital learning, e-learning, webinars, anything that's going to be able to enhance our offering with the approach of face-to-face, complementing the digital side of things.
And excitingly, Luminate's going to be launched very soon. So you've been heading up and working on Luminate. Tell us a bit more about Luminate and what we've been doing there.
It's been a process. So originally we were looking at a learning management system, and we really wanted to elevate our offering at Peter to make it a little bit different.
Yeah.
So we started to explore learning experience platforms, and that shifts the focus from compliance training and pushed training more to a pulled approach, so that the learner can actually choose their learning and be able to be in control of what they're wanting to study, to elevate their skills and something that's of interest to them. So it's a lot more personalised as an experience. That's the route that we're looking at.
And what we're hoping with this, I think, is really about making sure that it complements what we do. Luminate's a great platform. It's going to be a great platform. And the work that Tash has put into it has been exceptional. And it is very much about that blended solution. So it's recognising that one size doesn't fit all. And actually, if a client might have a requirement for some face-to-face learning, but actually they might also be able to augment that with a little bit of blended and Luminate approach to that. So we kind of bring everything together to elevate our offering.
It's really interesting, isn't it? I mean, we were really lucky yesterday because we went to go to a customer's site and have a look around at how they're automating, and it's happening everywhere. Training's so important to that, for that. So training and skills are pivotal. I wonder if they really do change or if it's behaviours.
It doesn't necessarily change. I think how businesses want to develop and move forward is different and has evolved over the years. We're certainly seeing with the implementation of AI, it's huge and it is massive, and it's in everything that we do now. I mean, we're bringing AI into some of just our generic courses, the courses that we're doing before we even move into kind of a blended approach and what we're doing now. We're looking at Microsoft Excel and how we incorporate AI into that. And there is ways to do this. It's making people aware of what's there and technology and how it can help and support them, and removing some of that fear factor, because I think a lot of people have a fear factor with regards to especially AI and digital learning, and it's just taking that away.
Yeah, and I remember when we first started looking at Excel and Copilot and putting Copilot in our Excel courses, amazingly, Excel, Teams, they're still are one of our highest selling courses. People still need those digital skills. So with everything that you're working on, it's really fascinating how people are going to keep up, and actually people are still people. Mm-hmm. So they still need to learn. They still need the face-to-face, yeah, as you said.
And I think the thing with with Luminate and what it's going to provide us with, it's going to be things like, if I take, for example, our Microsoft Excel course, rather than potentially offering a full course to an individual, it's about saying, actually, can we create a short training support for them on a big given subject? So if I look at Excel, it might be around pivot tables. So you're actually becoming more agile, rather than being less agile, it's been creating more agility in what we deliver and how we deliver it. So we can create, with Tash's support, pivot tables, and then we can go out to the customers and obviously offer that to them, so they can go very high impact. That's how we learn it, and we can apply it back in the business.
And I think that's a really key thing, is the application. So obviously our slogan here is about aspiring to learn. Now, if we look at that, it's about wanting to learn and wanting to take yourself to that next level, and almost taking that control back. So AI, we're exploring this and seeing what it's capable of, and being curious about it. But there is a sense of this blended approach between the human intervention and what AI can deliver.
So is there a journey? There must be a journey then, I reckon, that we're on, which is people wanting gamification. We hear it all the time. So we've got, gamification in learning is really hot topic at the moment. But gamification, you could do it without technology, actually. You could gamify learning. And so it's really interesting, Tash, in your role, whether we still have to adhere to those fundamentals of what makes education excellent, and how you interpret those fundamentals. And your background is education as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit then about that and how you see that.
So I've come from teaching background, tutoring online through COVID, which was a radical change. Everybody was shifting. It forced our hands to be able to become more technology efficient. Also got some experience in marketing and sort of seeing that from a customer point of view. You've got game-based learning, which sort of draws on that game element. And then gamification is more about healthy competition, incentivizing, intrinsic motivators. So that's going to encourage someone to want to progress. So it might be as simple as a digital badge or certificate. Those things can still be delivered in a gamified way, and you might be competing against peers or sort of developing amongst a team, and that can create the gamification. So it doesn't have to be all in for game-based approaches. You can still learn from in the classroom in a gamified way. You can use technology enhanced systems to be able to support that, or you can strip it back and just encourage a little bit of healthy competition.
And that's the thing, it's not changing what we've done, it's not changing how we've delivered it, it's just about adapting what we're delivering. So gamification has always been there. You embed that into your learning environment. It's just how we do it now is very different, and it's more agile to the business requirements of these days.
Yeah. I would even go as far as to say the way gamification should be implemented is around immersion and sort of interactivity. Yeah. Now, you can apply that to both the classroom, in person, face to face. You can apply it in self-directed digital e-learning courses. So it's sort of seeing that cross between.
And also businesses need to be more productive. So we know, particularly the sector we work in, so predominantly our foundations engineering, so we know that businesses need to keep being productive, and taking them out for training could deem to reduce productivity. We wanted to enhance it, and we believe it does. But that's a really interesting dynamic with this.
Yeah, I mean, we've got examples. I mean, I use the word agility a lot, and actually that's key, because we've got examples where we've both been involved with a particular client who's asked us to deliver a data tech apprenticeship program. And the approach that we've taken internally has been very collaborative, but it's about delivering what meets their needs, and they have requested that it's all done online. There's no face-to-face element of it. So when we originally spoke to that client, it was a little bit of a challenge for us, because we had to sit back and go, oh, this is a bit different from what we usually do. But through talking with Tash and the individuals that we've got within the business, we've created a collaborative approach that has been able to provide a high-quality apprenticeship but meets the needs of the client. They can't release their individuals out. They have different shift patterns. So, I talk about agility. It's so key to everything we do. And actually this process that we're on, this journey that we're on with regards to Luminate and technology, is going to enhance that even further. It's going to make us more adaptive, more agile to our clients' needs and requirements, I think.
It's about flexible working, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's about thinking beyond what an organisation would do, and how you can push boundaries and drive innovation, and actually think wider than the operation that you sit within. So thinking about geographical reach or different working patterns or how people choose to receive their training, that's really the way the industry is moving, is how can we work to the customer's needs and how can we work to their requirements?
And how can we use AI and technology to support those requirements?
So thinking then, we spoke at the beginning about face-to-face and how that's always fundamental to what we do. And a massive part of learning for me is about the people that I meet. So when I'm learning, I get to meet people, I get to find out their experiences. And, we've talked about experiences today. So we've adapted this programme because of the shift patterns, and then we're able to tailor that programme to meet that business's needs. I wonder what the impact is on the individuals. Does it support them because they're individual and then they're able to adapt and do their learning when it's appropriate and right for them? Or are they actually missing out on those peer groups and those environments? How can we adapt to make sure we don't miss out, or the learners don't miss out because of the business's productivity?
I think the key thing there is, again, it's about recognising that not everyone learns the same way, that not every program has to be delivered the same way. I mean, we've talked about that program there. I think these are individuals who are very tech orientated and understand it, so it works well for them. At the moment, we're looking at how we create a blended delivery with regards to our management program, and we know that management is usually very much a face-to-face learning environment. You learn best from that. So it's about looking at how we can support those learners and create that journey, but make sure that they feel that they're going to actually come along with us on that journey. So we're just talking about different approaches we do with that and how the blended approach works with that. So agility is very key here. It's not just about agility of our customers, it's about agility of our programs as well.
And isn't that fascinating that most of our customers run in process? So whilst they're agile, they follow a process. Yeah. So how do we maintain that agility and make sure that we're able to keep the consistency, the quality, and probably feel that's part of your remit, I guess?
You have to consistently monitor what programs we're building, how we're building them, what client requirements there are in place, and then it's just reviewing that on a consistent basis. We're lucky we have very strong relationships with our clients here, and that's one of the key things. So what we tend to do is when we build a program and we start rolling that out as a pilot program, we bring those clients and those learners along with us on that journey so that they can understand, yes, there is a process that they have to go through, but the quality remains consistently high, and that is the key thing. And that's one of the key things we've been very focused on with the introduction of Luminate and with Tash's role. She's been making sure that that quality remains consistently high throughout in terms of what we're doing from a digital perspective as well.
And do you think product development has become a bigger part of people's roles?
Yeah, I think it is. I think we've got to consistently look at what we're doing and how we're doing it. I mean, I come back to the development of AI. It's so huge and it's such a big part of not just our delivery, but the working world. And I think you have to consistently look at how you're changing and adapting and what you're doing. If you're just going to sit still, you're not going to go anywhere. And I think we're looking at what we're doing. We're looking at programs now that are AI, that we're looking at apprenticeship standard at the moment that is AI related. We're looking at data analyst as a kind of follow on from data tech. So we're talking about data and AI constantly in the standards that we do and learning ourselves. We're an educator, and the key thing for that is it's not just about educating our clients and our apprentices or our learners, it's educating ourselves and understanding some of this thing. The journey I've been on since we've started using technology has been massive, but actually I've embedded that in everything that I do on a daily basis.
So do you remember when we had those headsets? I think about 2.5 years ago, we had this, I might have had a silly idea. We put some headsets on, didn't we? We borrowed some headsets to see if we could use them to develop leadership. So role plays.
Yeah,
so we didn't
absolutely.
have to do it in an environment. We thought we'd do a synthetic role plays. Didn't quite work, did they?
No, the technology for those wasn't there at the time. And what we got control group, we got tutors involved, we got learners involved to give us feedback on that. And a lot of what they felt was that actually, while it was great to actually test it out and see what it felt like, it kind of detracted from the learning experience. And that's the key thing. Whatever we do, whatever we put in,
Got to be with purpose.
yeah, 100%. It's got to be with purpose. Because if we're just going to if we just get a gimmick. Get a gimmick in and go, oh, do you know what? We're going to use headsets here because we think it's going to be really good, but it detracts from the learning experience. Then that's not acceptable. It's got to be.
And also, when you're on using an avatar, for example, that's not really. Cause we all know we have to have difficult conversations or courageous conversations in business, so that's fine. You can have a courageous conversation with anybody if you never have to see them again. That's dead easy. It's when you got to work with them the next day, and you're not going to work with an avatar the next day because you don't really care what they think about you.
I think it's about a safe environment to practice in. Obviously, the real deal is going to feel a lot different. It's going to be an emotionally driven experience. But to be able to have that practice safe space to almost just think through what might be your answers, think about solutions, be challenged, and think in a different way.
So, I mean, and it's back to your point, Phil, about the clients that we work with, the businesses. If our learners, delegates aren't given the ability or the opportunity to practice in that safe space back in the workplace, the learning is never going to be applied.
Well, you come back to, aspire to learn. The other bit of that is apply to advance. And that's kind of the key bit as well. We can bring people in and take them on a learning journey, but actually it's not just about that learning journey. It's how we apply that back in the workplace. So bringing them in and showing them how to do Excel, pivot tables, whatever it will be, means nothing if we don't take that and show them how that incorporates into their own business.
And a massive part of learning is failure. So we've just talked about trying these headsets. We tried it, failed fast, moved on, tried something else. We did the same with the forklift truck simulator, didn't we? Tried that for a day.
The risk, isn't it?
Move on.
Depends on the cost, the resources involved, taking that chance. And
actually, on both of those cases, the learning experience was not enhanced by technology.
No, but I think it's important that you trial it, you test it, you say, do you know what, we don't think it's going to add any value at this point. But then it's also recognising that you might be coming back round to it because, the technology evolves. So actually, is VR going to be something that we will look at as it evolves? And this time in 5 years' time, we might be sitting here having a different conversation, or maybe not even sitting here having this conversation. We might be on headsets.
Yeah, and 100%.
I think we shouldn't be trying to escape it. We know it's coming. It's about embracing it, but it's about embracing it in the right way and actually thinking what is suitable for our business and what can we let go of. There are so many tools out there. Everybody's fighting for your attention. There are so many different AI platforms, programs, tools that people want your business, but it's about using the right ones that are going to make your organisation more efficient and something you can feel confident with.
What was interesting, we spoke to a business owner yesterday who allows one of his team to drive, his words, a £35,000 piece of kit. It might have been more than that, but he would never let him get in his car. So it's just bonkers, isn't it, if you think about how we trust and enable our workforce to do that. And in all of this, the end user, so the delegates are the ones that I'm really interested in. So how do we get somebody who's, and I've met some of our delegates who have been in the workforce for 20 years and they're scared and they don't even want to come into training because they're scared that they'll be in a digital workshop or a Teams workshop or an Excel workshop and everybody else will know how to turn the computer on and they don't. And that's still a real issue.
I think it is. I think it's about, I think Tash touched on this point earlier on about creating safe spaces. And I think that's really what it's about. It's about creating a safe space. Whatever course they're doing here at Peter, whatever, standard, apprenticeship standard or short course, whatever it may be, it's about creating a safe space where they can come in and learn and actually engage with what we're doing and feel that they're getting something from it. We touched on educating us as well. It's constant. We're on a journey ourselves through all of this technology, through all of this stuff. I've attended a recent safeguarding event where it was talking about AI and safeguarding, and it was eye-opening. For me, it was eye-opening. There was things there that I'd not come across before. Incorporating AI into safeguarding and what we do, we have to consider it. We have to consider what clients are seeing, what our apprentices are seeing, and how it's being used.
And that goes straight back into what you're saying about us having to develop ourselves first before we even get to the point that we have to support. We're able to support.
We class ourselves as the experts.
Yeah.
We are experts. We want to be experts. We want our businesses, our clients to see us as experts. So we want them to be able to come to us and say, "Oh, we want to use this Luminate platform that you've got. Okay, let's introduce you to Tash. Let's talk through that. What does that look like? How can we build that for you?" We have to constantly be on that journey of learning so that our clients feel that they're on that with us as well.
I think it's really interesting the point you're talking about with AI and this fear factor, and almost people are embracing it. I think the past few years we've really taken that in our stride, but it's about understanding it and looking at it with a critical eye. So the large language models, our LLMs, are not thinkers.
So what's an LLM?
So this is our large language model, which is what we're looking at with Gemini, Copilot, ChatGPT. They are built to follow patterns. So when you type into Google and something comes up recommended, it's essentially filtering through a bank of words, keywords, that it anticipates that you're going to ask it. And then it's designed to produce these beautifully enriched, eloquent English texts that we are starting to believe is our single truth. So I would urge you to be curious, but also critical, and actually take that judgment through, and that is what's going to give you confidence. So my 3 C's there, because that is around the balance of what it can produce and us taking that particular time to look and think, is this accurate? Is this going to inform my practice? It will definitely help with my efficiency. But yeah, just having that sort of curiosity as well.
But I think the thing with that is people, look, again, we touched on this earlier. We said that different people in different businesses are at different points with AI, and they are. We've run a number of workshops here at Peter previously where we've tried to get people to embrace AI and to understand the concept of it, what it can do and how it can benefit them. And one of the first questions we always ask is, what do you know about AI? Do you use AI? And the responses around the room, when you've got 60 people in a room, can be so varied. So it's about recognising that not everyone is using it to the right level or to the same level, and about making sure that we're supporting those when they come into the classroom. We go back to the Excel example. We're saying, right, okay, we're going to talk to you about how AI is incorporated into Excel here and what it can do. And it's just about making sure that people don't switch off at that point and kind of go, oh, AI, I'm not going to touch that because it's this phantom thing, and actually explain how it can embrace and support them, what they're doing.
And it feels like, from Tash, what you were just saying is one of the fundamentals is how you approach these things, not necessarily. So we can go through how to use AI, but actually the curiosity, the understanding what it's telling us and what it really means is where that real click happens, isn't it? That's where the real learning happens. That's where the magic happens.
And I actually think the current generation are in the prime position to become mentors for the next generation who are going to just see this as part of the norm. So it's an education piece as well to trust your instincts sometimes and not just be persuaded by AI. So I would challenge on that. It can produce so many different contexts and give you different perspectives, and it's about us being critical and thinking about it. But the current generation shouldn't fear it, because they are in the prime position to understand where we've come from and how we can use it to our advantage in a professional way.
So fascinating. You said about gut instinct. There's 2 pivotal moments that I remember. One's from my coach, and she says regularly to me, trust your instinct. And I did a strategy module in my MBA, and right at the end of it, he said to me, some professor said, so you can follow all of that and that's great, but your gut's a real thing. And so it's really interesting you say that, because actually we are functioning human beings, and we've got values, beliefs, behaviours, feelings that tell us stuff as well.
Yeah, and I think with AI, we talk about AI and what it produces. I think it comes back to that expert element. You have to understand. AI will produce something for you, and it will give you the answer. But actually, you need to have an understanding of that to be able to critically question it. Use one of your C's. Critically question it and make sure that you're saying, is that right? And that's all you need to do. You just need to, and as educators, that's what we do. We ask people to critique everything, to make sure that they're questioning it so that they're learning from it.
Yeah. And isn't that what it feels to be human, is to be able to have that edge where you can challenge something or agree with something or...
So it sounds like we're saying that digital content then will never, ever replace the human.
I don't think it will ever replace face-to-face interaction, but I think it's about looking at the options that we have to provide a blended approach.
Or what we could do that's virtual, so we tick that box and then we can get into the really great stuff about gut instinct, about how we think, so we can then learn to develop the businesses that we work with even more, because we've ticked box those generic things we have to do, and let's crack on and know how we apply it and advance it in the business.
It's interesting you say about tick boxes, because I think a lot of businesses are going to come at digital from a tick box perspective, but it's about thinking wider than that and seeing how you can create blended options rather than either or, so that they can work in synergy. So it doesn't just have to be self-directed learning. It doesn't have to be about go away and do your e-learning. I think we're past that now. I think it's around how can we use digital to support our understanding? How can we test and play in different ways to challenge the status quo? And I think that's what's going to drive innovation. Let's disrupt it. Yes.
Love it.
Yeah. But do it carefully. Do it in a logical way that makes sense rather than a gimmicky way that's not going to add any extra value.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Tash. That was really interesting.
Thank you, Fiona.
You're welcome. Thank you.